Glue guys are important in groups of your friends, basketball teams, in every part of life. You got to have a glue guy. You got to have a glue guy. And who's that glue guy for this Kentucky basketball team? We're going to talk about that on today's episode of the Wildcats Today Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, publisher over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by Carson Nash. Carson, I think you're our glue guy. I think that's a safe thing to say. I think that all of our friends would agree that Carson Nash is our glue guy. Carson Nash is always doing everything to make sure that we got stuff going on. He puts the plans together. He brings the vibes. He brings the energy. I think Carson Nash is our glue guy. So, Carson, what do you think about Kentucky's glue guy? Who would that be to you?
Yeah, I appreciate those comments, Andrew. I love it. I love being the glue guy. Someone's got to do the job.
Exactly.
And I think the best person to do the job for the Kentucky Wildcats is none other than Mod Diabate. I think he's got all the intangibles. He does the little stuff so well and so thoroughly. I think Mod D is our glue guy, and I can't wait to see him prosper.
To me, and I wrote an article about, so John Rothstein wrote an article about like the top 10 glue guys in college basketball, and Mod D was on the list. And, I looked at this and I found that to be really interesting. And when I think glue guy, you know what I immediately think of, and this will be a flash to our past, Carson, and that is the offensive line. The offensive line is the definition of glue guys. And the reason that is because what they do isn't often in the spotlight, but it leads to wins. Mod D, we project him to start, right now. And I think there's a world where Jelavic could take over. And even if Jelavic takes over as a starter, Mod D is still the glue guy of this team. And we've talked about their different skill sets. Now you can mix and match them in there and do different things. But I think that Mod D's rebounding and defense and grittiness. To me, a glue guy's got to be gritty. You got to have a gritty glue guy. And that's what Mod D is. So I think that he's able to do that. And I told you, I remember when the first time we got to interview Mod D, and I remember I called you walking back to the car, and I said, dude, that dude means business. I mean, it was immediate glue guy vibes. Like, that's what I got from Mod D. That's the type of player he is. And is he going to score 20 points a lot this season? Probably not. Is he going to score 15 points a lot this season? Probably not. Is he going to score 8 points a lot this season and pull down 7, 8 rebounds and get an assist or two and get a couple steals and get a couple blocks to where you look up in the stat sheet or you watch on ESPN the next day and Mod D's name's not up there. It's not up there with the leading scorers, but he led to the win. That's the type of player he is, Carson. So, what are your thoughts on that? And then is there another underrated glue guy you could see being on this team that wasn't on that list for Mr. Rothstein?
Yeah, I think more on Mod D. I think he prides himself on doing the little things to the best ability, like steals, blocks, getting loose balls, rebounds, everything, defense. He prides himself on being that guy who kind of is a leader and keeps his emotions in check. He doesn't get too high and doesn't get too low. So he's a great captain. He straight ship is the best type of ship. But he's just so locked in, and he has a dog mentality. All the younger guys look up to him because he's been in the SEC already. He does everything to his best ability, 110% all the time, and that rubs off in the locker room, and that allows the team to say, "Hey, look at this older guy. Mod D's working his ass off over here. That means I need to get in the gym earlier, means I need to go do some rebounding drills, need to get quicker, all these sort of things." So it's great to have a guy like Mod D in the locker room.
I'm with you. And what's so funny about this is, I think Mod D is the perfect example of a glue guy. That's what you got to be. Seriously, the perfect example. If you looked up definition of glue guy, what you're going to read, it's going to be just describing who Mod D is as a person, who he's going to be as a player for this basketball team. And you need guys like that. Every basketball team needs a guy like that that's going to do the dirty work, and you're going to look up at the stat sheet, and he's not going to get a ton of praise. He's not going to score 15, 20 points a lot this season. He'll give you 12. I bet you he averages around 9 or 10 points would be my guess. And the reason, I mean, that's solid numbers. But what I'm saying is you're going to look up and you're going to see, Otega Oweh scores 22 and the Cats win over Louisville. And the second leading scorer for the Kentucky Wildcats is Denzel Albertine. He has a great day shooting the ball from three and ends up with 17 points. You're not going to see, and Mod Diabate had a great day with 9 boards. Like, it just doesn't come up as much. People love points. He's not going to be discussed a lot, but he is going to be a reason that this team is so successful. So I'm excited for Modi. Now I've got a guy in my head, Carson, that I want to see. Give me another glue guy on this basketball team.
Yeah, this is the easiest one ever. It is the Mountain Mamba, Trent Noah.
That's exactly.
I think Trent Noah is the guy. He's another guy on this team that values those little things. Right, he does the little things to the best of his ability every time. Crashing the offensive glass, we've seen that. He makes pretty much every shot he shoots. He's always moving. He's open. He gets his hands on the loose balls. He's just everywhere you want your players to be. He has a high basketball IQ, and him and Mod are both leaders. So I think both of them are going to be huge glue guys for us this season.
You know how when I knew he was going to be a glue guy, this was like, here he's going to be. I got when we were at that game in Nashville where we played Vandy. And he came in, and this was back when he hadn't really played a lot.
No.
He was like slowly getting, and he went in and got like 5 offensive rebounds in a game where we couldn't do crap. We couldn't do anything. We were terrible. And he fought and did everything he could to get us back in that basketball game. He did everything in his power. And it was it wasn't points. If I remember right, I don't think maybe he scored 2 or 4 points. It wasn't like he scored 10 points. It was the rebounds, giving us second chances. That's what we're talking about with the glue guy. That's what a glue guy does. And I think Trent Noah is another great example. I think another guy that you could also throw in there would be Colin Chandler.
Yeah.
Because I think his flexibility in the backcourt, he can play a lot of different positions. And as a depth guard, he's probably going to have a stat line similar to what we saw last year from Denzel Albertine at Florida. And to where you look at it and you go, okay, he's not a star player. Once again, his name's not up there on the box score when you see the 2 top scorers and after the game or whatever. You're not going to see Colin Chandler's name up there a lot. Colin Chandler will give you a 20-point game this year. He'll give you 1 or 2, but it's not going to be often. Mm-hmm. But he's going to, with his ability to come off the bench and help us at all the different spots in the backcourt, and his ability to pass and rebound and play good defense. That stuff is what matters. So those, I think, are the glue guys for this basketball team. And they're going to be really important. But, yeah, I think Modi is the perfect example of what a glue guy is. So I really like that from Rothstein. Next thing I wanted to talk about, Carson, we've got a lot of mini topics today. But a CBS Sports article came out, and they do a lot of these articles, and I always like these. They have like 4 or 5 of their writers. There's like a topic, and then each writer picks like an answer to the topic. Like it's like, who's the best coach, whatever, you know what I mean? And each gives an answer. This question was, who will finish with the top recruiting class in 2026? And Kentucky was the answer of Kyle Boone. And so the other teams we saw up here, there's a crazy one on here. You want to hear the crazy one that's on here, Carson?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say crazy because they've already landed a good player, but Missouri is on there. The teams are Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke. Yeah, those are the teams. Those are the options. But this article talked about the players Kentucky's in for, which obviously we've discussed a lot. And they also talked about why. Did you see the stat, Carson, that like only, I think it's like 5 top 50 kids are committed, or maybe it's 6 or 10 or something. There's like, it's because these kids are driving up this market and they're seeing what they got, and you're going to see that happen a lot more. But what do you think it would take, Carson, for us to do that, for us to finish with the number 1 recruiting class? What players would it take us to land?
I think you got to go and get, and now I think the transfer portal class is kind of grouped in with your recruiting class. Mm-hmm. So I say you need 3 or 4 high school kids, and then you go and fill gaps with your transfer portal based off of who leaves and who stays. But I think you go after, of course, Tyran Stokes. That's your obvious number one. And then Deron Rippey Jr. That's your number 2 guy. You need those 2 guys. Then the Deane guy that visited recently, the big guy, he's an option as well. And I think it's either Houston, Arkansas, or us with him. And so we'll see where that goes. And then you always got Caleb Holt still waiting to make a decision, who's a big time player. So I think if you land those 4 guys, I think you easily get the number 1 recruiting class. And then just top it on with the transfer portal players that you're going to get, because you know how Mark Pope recruits in the transfer portal. We're getting those guys. So I think if you land those 4 or maybe even those 3 with the good transfer portal class, I think you could get to that top spot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And I think something Mark Pope's going to start doing every year is taking a Braden Hawthorne. I think that he's going to start doing that every year. And I like it. Yeah. I mean, the film we saw from practice, I thought he made some plays, and I mean, he looks good. And
Braden 6'11" can put the ball on the ground and shoot over top of you on a side step. Like that doesn't come around a lot.
Not a bad investment. There's been worse investments. I mean, not a bad one. So I don't hate taking a player like that every year. I'll tell you this. I am a little bit losing confidence in Rippey right now. There's been buzz about Stokes. I'm not buying that buzz. I'm buying the Rippey buzz. I'm losing a little bit of confidence there. I'm not. Yeah, it's from what I've heard. That's where I'm kind of sitting on this. Not saying we're out of it. I mean, we talk about this a lot. The fluidity of recruiting is insane. I mean, tomorrow we'll be behind for Stokes, and the next day we'll be ahead, and we're behind, and we're ahead. And the same thing for Rippey. I mean, we could take it back over a lead, but that's where I kind of sit right now. This is going to be interesting. I think I like what's going on with Holt. I think that, and we're going to talk about another topic here in a minute, but I think Auburn actually had positioned themselves in a solid spot for Holt. I don't think they were leaders, but I think they were in it.
Yeah, them and Alabama were it's the 2 Bama schools in Kentucky I feel the best about.
That's what I'm saying. And I think you can write one of them off now. So I think it just gives us a better shot at Holt. I think Coach Pope should go all in further on Holt now because I think he's a stud. But, yeah, and I mean, I think – and that's what I don't know if it was specified in this I don't remember. I never saw if it was specified about if the portal was part of it. It was mentioned, but I don't know if that was part of what they were talking about. But if the portal's part of it, yes, okay, no, the portal is part of it, which I thought makes sense. If the portal's part of it, I buy it because Coach Pope is the portal king. If the portal is part of it, I buy it. So that is my take on that. I think if that's part of it, I think he could do it because I have a good feeling about Stokes. And you know what's a good way to land the number 1 class, Carson?
Yeah.
Land the number 1 player in the class.
Yeah.
That'll give you a good start. Give you a good start. So any other thoughts on that article?
No, that's all I got.
On that, yeah. And then the next thing I think we should talk about for a minute is what the heck's going on with Bruce Pearl, man. That was crazy. And it kind of reminded me of Virginia's coach.
Tony Bennett.
Did the same thing. I think this is interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that roster stays together because I mean they were a solid team. They weren't what they were last year.
Bedford's awesome.
A solid basketball team, and I think that think this is good for the Cats because that's a tough game. We're going down there to play them, and that's a tough game to win. And I think it just got a little bit more winnable. But I do think this is interesting, Carson, because I think Bruce Pearl's still going to have a lot of his hands on this team a lot. You know what I mean? But what were your thoughts on that? What was your reaction to that?
Yeah, I was shocked yesterday when that came across my phone. I'm not going to lie, because I felt like if he was going to do it, I felt like it would have been after the season last year, but he waited until the month before games start to kind of announce his retirement. But it was crazy to me, but it wasn't super shocking. And he's getting older. He's done pretty much everything he's wanted to do in basketball except for win a national championship. And so, best wishes to Bruce Pearl. I never really hated Bruce Pearl. I always loved his energy. It'll be interesting to see how his son does at Auburn. I have a feeling that Bruce Pearl will have his hands on that a little bit to kind of guide him and help him out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see at Auburn, but I definitely don't think it'll be the powerhouse that it was with Bruce Pearl there.
No question. One thing that I'm thankful for the Kentucky perspective, that we didn't go hire Bruce Pearl a year ago.
That would have been awful.
Can you imagine? Because Mark Pope would. Now, I still think even if Mark Pope would have taken over a big time job, if he got that phone call from Mitch, he was coming here.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, we're in a weird spot if you'd hired Mr. Pearl over Coach Pope. So, I agree with you.
What are your running odds on him for Senate? Do you think he's going to run? If put it at an odds.
I think that when a coach does this, retires, and obviously the Senate stuff's been out there, it's got to be generally, I think, health related issues. Well, I'm saying for Coach Pearl, you add in the Senate thing. There's a few different, or the whole just getting too old. And I mean, Bruce Pearl's getting older, but he still had a few more years of coaching.
Yeah,
he's a
fiery individual.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I just and you could tell he's the type of guy that likes to be out there and likes to coach and loves to coach his players. And I just have a feeling he coaches another year or two if he's not running for Senate. I think he's going to run for Senate. And I'd be curious to know if he's going to win or not. He's very political on social media.
Very. Like the most outgoing political coach, I think, maybe ever.
So it'll be interesting. Now he's running from that. He'd be running from that, the Republican side in Alabama. So he'd probably have a pretty good shot of winning that one. And I think a lot of people, hey, there's a basketball coach. That'll be interesting. But I don't know. I lean right now 55 yes, 45 no on that.
Okay.
I just think why stop coaching?
Yeah.
If you're not doing
I agree with you. I think he's running as well.
Yeah,
I think he's
not. And he did a video I saw. He said he's not. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not right now. And then 3 weeks down the line. Yeah.
I don't think that'd be the time to be like, oh, and also, guys, I'm running for Senate. So, hey, if you want to vote, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that he would have he would launch it in a different way.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. But definitely a guy that made college basketball fun. It made college basketball fun.
I absolutely loved his energy. You could never go into a place with Bruce Pearl there and not feel that energy. I mean, he was all about it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was there's some coaches that I think are a lot of people don't like that I see. I like Lane Kiffin. I think he's fun.
I love Lane.
I like what I mean. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people that kind of don't like Bruce Pearl. I've always thought he's
I liked when he used to take his shirt off with his players and go crazy. That's a team guy. You want to get your players bought in, fans bought in. He did the best at that job. He's a A+ salesman because he got Auburn all involved.
And you got to remember, he took over an Auburn team that was
terrible,
a skid mark on the underwear of SEC basketball, and an already lower SEC basketball. And I'll tell you this. So I'd be curious to research this. It really seems like as the SEC really got better at basketball, it seems like Bruce Pearl kind of almost started that trend. Kentucky was there, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look back at the 2010, I think he got there at 2014. I saw yesterday. So he was there for 11 years. That was the time where Kentucky, if they lost an SEC game, it was a disappointment.
Yeah.
And I think Auburn was one of those first teams because they were that was bad and then got good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then we've seen some other teams kind of do that. So I think that Pearl was almost a bit of a trendsetter and kind of getting the SEC to be more invested in basketball as a whole. And I think that's so. I'm going to be sad to not be able to whoop his behind anymore. That's for sure. What do you think? How's his son going to do over there?
I don't know. I'm skeptical because I think me and you were talking before we got on here, and we said that it probably would have been smarter for him to go get a smaller job and prove himself a little before he went to Auburn. But, with the guidance of Bruce Pearl, he's going to help him every step of the way. So he's basically going to run it with him for the first couple of years, I'm assuming, and then just give him the full reins after that. So I think he'll be fine. Now, I don't think they'll be the juggernaut that they were these past couple of years, but I think they'll still be a fine mid-tier. They'll probably be ranked every season. I would say right around there.
I mean, he'll never dodge the nepotism, bullets. He won't. But the only way to do it is to go be successful.
Yeah, just win.
But I don't. I mean, the dude has no experience, and I get it. He's got a pretty good mentor. His dad's a heck of a coach. But I still think there's a lot to it. And I just think that you need to do it on a lower level I think it's the case with anything. If you get handed a job that you're not qualified for, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard to succeed, And I don't think he's qualified because he's never been head coach. And that's kind of my take on it. And he could be successful, but I just think there's things you have to learn, and it's going to be interesting. That'll be interesting. I feel a lot better about us going down there and winning this basketball game, though. Because Bruce Pearl's not.
Do you see any late transfers?
The way that this seemed to me from everything we saw on social media yesterday is that the players kind of knew this was.
I think so too.
But I mean, if you look at it, I don't. First of all, let's say Pettiford enters the portal, right? Where's he going to go?
That's what I'm saying. It's too late.
He could go to.
Pearl did this perfectly because he made it to where none of the players can leave. It's too late. It's too close to the season. His son gets the job. He did this swan song perfectly.
It wasn't an accident. I'll tell you that.
No, I know.
But so that's what's going to be interesting to me is if any of those players leave. But Pettiford, he doesn't have a role here in Lexington. He's a great player. We've already got a basketball team. He's a great player, but we don't need you, man. And I think that's the case at a lot of good schools. Could he go to Nebraska and be their starting point guard and be really good? Sure. But
why would you do that?
I'm just saying at that point,
Yeah.
I think he's going to stay where he is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That'll be interesting. But interesting SEC news there. How do you feel about the South Carolina game, Carson? Football. We'll talk a little bit about this and then call it a day.
Yeah, I'm actually on this Tuesday morning, I'm starting to feel a little bit better about it, honestly. South Carolina went and lost to Mizzou. They lost the week prior to that as well. I know Sellers is back, and Sellers is a fantastic quarterback. That dude just lights it up. So he's going to be a challenge. But, hey, then again, we announced our new QB1, Cutter Boley. So I'm really excited to see what Cutter does down there. And I think the Cats have a really good chance at upsetting South Carolina and getting the win down there.
Have you seen the spread yet? I haven't seen it.
I haven't looked.
Do you want to take a guess?
I bet it's 6.5.
I was going to say right under a touchdown. I was actually going to say 6.5 too, but I feel like we agree too much sometimes. So I'll say 5.5. But I just don't think they've done anything for it to be 9.5 points. So on the road, I mean, so let's see. I think 8.5 would be the highest I could potentially.
And heck, I know we lost to Ole Miss, but they look a lot better than I thought they were going to look against Tulane. They took Tulane to the woodshed.
Yeah, did Tulane cover? No, that screwed me. Thanks, Summerall.
Huh? Yeah, I lost money on that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What time is that? What we play at night? It's night game. I remember.
Yeah, it's later. It's like 7:45.
Okay. I'm trying to find the spread. Why is it? Okay. The spread is 6.5. There you
Yes,
go.
sir.
Sharp.
Ball knower.
Sharp. But I think that Sellers is selling their season. I mean, I'll tell you that. I know he's banged up, and I did not think they covered against Missouri. That was great, but I don't think that they looked great. I think that we can go down there and win this game. I think I'll probably pick us to win on Saturday. When we talk about this on Friday, I think I am going to pick us.
I think I'm going to pick us to win too,
because I think our defense is really good,
mm-hmm.
and I think that we're going to be able to score some points. And I think Cutter Bowley's going to sling that thing. So I'll probably pick us to win.
He's not scared to sling that thing.
No,
he's going to sling that thing.
That's what I'm saying. So no, I'm a believer in that fact right there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about the Reds, but every time I do that, they lose. So we'll just go Reds. We'll see what happens. I'm going tonight.
Big one tonight.
Going tonight. We'll leave it at that. So any other thoughts on any of this stuff, Carson, before we call it today?
No, that's all I got.
Who's the glue guy of the Cincinnati Reds?
Glue guy of the Cincinnati Reds.
That's a fun question.
Huh. Spencer Steer.
I love that. I do love that.
Dude, I love me some Spencer Steer. He always does the right thing when you need it to be done. He's right there.
Yeah, I'm a Spencer Steer guy. He's been tearing up the baseball.
Ripping the cover off the baseball.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for him to hit one out of the ballpark tonight. So, yeah, I like that. Spencer Steer, I think, is a great answer. I think he's a great answer to that question. But big Reds game, a lot of excitement there. So go to the game if you can. If you got
Andrew, you gonna be there?
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be shirtless and I'll be loud. I'm gonna have Ellie on my chest, and then De La Cruz on each butt cheek. Ellie, De La Cruz. I'm gonna be fired up, just like Happy Gilmore.
You wearing your famous Friedel jersey?
Does a 3-legged dog walk in a circle? Yes, I'm wearing my famous Friedel jersey. But also because I can't find my dang Reds polo. So, I know it is what it is. But all right. I think on Friday, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking something basketball, and then we'll obviously break down the South Carolina game. So be ready for that. We do still have some big news coming. I think that we will probably be able to tell you all at the beginning of next week that news.
Maybe.
I think it's pretty fair. Maybe not, but whenever it comes, big news coming. So exciting stuff there. We're really chomping at the bit to tell you guys about this. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We would really appreciate that. Hope everyone has a great rest of their Tuesday, and we'll see you next time right here on the Wildcats Today podcast.